Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight to another edition of NASCAR Thunder 2004 on the channel here at Michigan International Speedway for the Sirius 400. It is going to be a fun one. A little bit of a late night. I had no clue we were going out to eat for my grandpa's birthday. His birthday was earlier in the week. I had no clue that we were going to have plans on that. So the original start time that was set for 7 o'clock obviously got pushed back to 8:30, as you could tell. I just got home about 15 minutes ago, so very minimal practice coming into tonight's race. That could be a problem, but luckily we won a race last night with minimal practice on another longer racetrack. So maybe it'll work out for Terry Labonte. We'll have to wait and see. But thanks for everybody tuning in here. It might be a little bit of a late night, but at least it's a Saturday. So I guess of any day of the week that this could have happened, I guess Saturday would be the best for all of us. Thanks for everybody tuning in, though. Ethan, welcome to the stream here. And we are about to get going. We'll go through the starting lineup as usual, and leading up to that point, the key points of emphasis heading into today's race. We have a very tight points battle. Again, the top 8 drivers are still within one race worth of points from each other, and that's after a 14-race start to the season. So we'll see if that'll continue here today. I almost ended the stream. That would have been bad.
MRN is coming to you live from Michigan International Speedway for today's Sirius 400. What can we expect in this race, Barney?
We'll look for speeds approaching 200 miles an hour and cars running 3 and 4 wide. That's a recipe for some exciting stuff.
Terry Labonte has been working hard at qualifying all season, and it's really showing.
Man, is it paying off for those guys. Seems like each and every week that car is starting in the top 10.
Something a little out of the ordinary in this one for Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, he's definitely not used to having to pick through traffic so early in the race. This could make it an exciting race for him, or it could be disastrous.
Jonathan Rogers, Tristan Games, Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream as well. Engines are fired, and all 43 cars will be rolling off the pit lane and up onto the racetrack, settling themselves at about 70 miles per hour behind the base car. We'll go through tonight's starting lineup for today's race. And we'll start things off with Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart on the front row, second straight race, in which Dale Jr. will be starting on the pole. Jeff Gordon and Ryan Newman will be in row 2. Second straight night, Newman is qualified in the first 2 rows. Kenny Walsh and Michael Waltrip will be starting in row number 3 for tonight's race. Bill Elliott and Matt Kenseth will be in row number 4. In row number 5, it'll be Kurt Busch and Daytona 500 winner Ricky Craven. Kurt Busch led a handful of laps in last night's race. Dale Jarrett and Jimmy Johnson will be back in row number 6. Jarrett came close to winning yesterday at Pocono. Mark Martin and Terry Labonte will be in row 7. Labonte comes in on back-to-back wins, both in dramatic late battles at the end of those races. Ricky Rudd and Robbie Gordon will be in row number 8. In row number 9, it'll be Jeff Burton and Ward Burton. They seem to find the Ward Burton, or I should say, we're starting to find the Burton brothers lining up one next to one another on the pace laps quite often. Bobby Labonte and Jeremy Mayfield in row number 10. Row number 11 behind those guys will be Rusty Wallace and Kevin Harvick. Greg Biffle and Elliott Sadler will also be behind them in row number 12. In row 13, it'll be Jerry Nadeau and Christian Fittipaldi. Nadeau brought out that last caution that set up a green-white checker finish at Pocono yesterday. Jamie McMurray and Hermie Sadler will be in row number 14. In row 15, it'll be Joe Nemechek and Ken Schrader. Sterling Marlin, Jeff Green will be in row 16. Marlin got in a bad accident at one point yesterday and also got wiped out by his rival at the time, Terry Labonte. We'll see if that will transpire again today. Kevin LePage and Johnny Benson will be in row 17. In row 18, it'll be Brett Bodine and Jack Sprague. Stanton Barrett, Chase Montgomery in row 19. Row number 20, it'll be Steve Park and Mike Skinner. In row 21, it'll be Kevin Grubb and Kyle Petty. And rounding out the field all by himself in row 22, it'll be Casey Mears. I think we're going to get set for a good race here on a Saturday night. Green flag is about to wave, and we are underway at Michigan. Labonte going to get split 3 wide into turn 1. Already minimal contact with Jeff Burton. Burton lost a handful of spots immediately as that just stalled the inside lane. Labonte did not take off on the restart. And they got put in the middle 3 wide before they even got into turn 1. He could not hold his line. Lack of practice could cost him here tonight. Still not able to really file himself in line. Labonte started 14th and drops 8 spots on lap 1. Really going to have to be careful with the gear ratios here. I've blown an engine a couple times on my career mode at Michigan, and those aren't even full races, so we'll see how this is going to run here today. First time we've got that got no paint scheme. Indeed, a couple of you guys in the chat have already pointed that out. Oh boy. Bonnie got really, really tight. Oh yeah. The can't-miss event of the NASCAR schedule, the Daytona 500. Guys, we're only 21 days away. Oh, Jeff Green into the side of Labonte. Labonte saves it off of turn 2. Johnny Benson first almost got into the back of Labonte, and then after Benson was able to get on by, Jeff Green kind of pulled up a little bit too far. Rough start for Terry Labonte so far. Dropping back to about where his brother qualified. And Sterling Marlin is coming. He's only a couple spots behind Terry Labonte. So Labonte's definitely going to have to watch out. Supercross started last week. I always thought that... Oh my gosh. It's analog stick, I swear. No reason we should be down in the grass on the front stretch. The lack of practice is definitely hurting Terry Labonte right now, and Sterling Marlin is all over his back bumper off of turn 2. Labonte has a little bit of straightaway speed going off into turn 3, trying to cross back over underneath Jamie McMurray. Big slide on corner entry, but he does get back around Jamie Mack. Yeah, I watched Supercross there for a few years when I was younger, and I just kind of stopped watching it. I don't know. No particular reason why I stopped watching it. Just it was kind of like I forgot about it, and then just never really went back to it. The repetition of just running a consistent line is slowly starting to get better and better for Terry Labonte. Bobby right on his back bumper going into turn 3, looking to the outside though. Now Labonte, Bobby to the inside of Terry. Terry might have pushed a little tight there in the center of the corner. I think Terry Labonte's got good straightaway speed. He qualified 14th. His first lap was faster than his second. The reason that was the case is because he got in the wall in turns 3 and 4. Just pushed the car a little bit too hard. Oh, that was a gutsy move. Beating Bobby Labonte in the 18 back to the gas. Terry drives on by. He'll pass Kenny Wallace down the front stretch as well. Sterling Marlin starting to go backwards. A couple cars in between him and Terry Labonte now. Terry's car might be a hair too tight. Kenny Wallace crosses him right back over. I don't think Kenny's got that fast of a race car. Another top 5 qualifying effort, though, for Kenny Wallace. At least he's got that going for him this year. That team seems to qualify well, but once they get a couple laps into a run, he just starts going backwards. At the start of the majority of these races. Again, most of them that he actually qualifies at or close to the top 10. Tomorrow's race, I can promise you, will be starting on time. I know we've had a couple races start a little late this week because of things that just kind of came up, but noon Eastern Standard Time will be the start time tomorrow at Sonoma, formerly known as Infineon Raceway back here in 2003. So the Infineon Raceway, our first road course race of the season tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. Oh, wow. Huge charge in the center of the corner. Terry got out of the gas. Bobby definitely beat him back to the gas. Terry's still kind of holding him off. Jamie McMurray trying to charge through the field. Terry's car just turns way too much in the center of the corner, and that caused him to push tight after clipping the apron. Jamie McMurray, Bobby Labonte both gaining a spot down the back straightaway. McMurray still trying to block Labonte. Bobby trying to get underneath Jamie McMurray. They're 3 wide down the front stretch. Oh, Labonte gets a little tight. Contact with McMurray up the racetrack. There goes Sterling Marlin into the back of Labonte. Labonte hooks Marlin for the second straight race. There was contact on the top of the racetrack with Terry Labonte and Jamie McMurray. Terry just flat out hooked Sterling Marlin after Marlin drilled him in the side off the exit of turn 2. Everybody else was cleanly missing to the inside, and Marlin, for whatever reason, couldn't. Marlin saved it, a spin through the grass down the back straightaway. We'll bring out our first caution of the night at lap 13. Oh, gotcha. Same. Man, that kind of stinks. Probably because of COVID and it being indoors, I'd have to assume. Green flag is going to be back in the air. On top of everything that's already happened for Terry Labonte, he doesn't take off well on these restarts, and Christian Fittipaldi on the outside just blows right by him. Car turns a little too much in the center of the corner, and that causes Labonte to get tight. Accidental contact with Kyle Petty off of turn 2 doesn't help either. The car is definitely on the tight side, but the analog stick makes me drive it way too deep into the corners, and it only makes it worse, especially from the center off. So where are they racing at then? I can't really remember any of the track layouts. I kind of remember Daytona a little bit. But I honestly don't remember any of the track layouts. Ooh, Jeff Burton almost got in the wall off of turn 2. Wow, McMurray with a late block as well. The speed Labonte carries into turn 3. It's getting way too tight. Tried to make a pass on Jeff Burton, 206 miles an hour on corner entry into turn 3. Look at the speed down the front stretch by Terry Labonte, squeezing into a hole, almost 4 wide. Slides into McMurray. McMurray into park. Now they are 4 wide in turns 1 and 2. Nadeau on the inside. Labonte barely keeps it off the wall. I don't know how they made it through turns 1 and 2. 4 wide. I think all 4 cars made contact with at least somebody in the mix of that. Definitely a desperation move. We saw Labonte maybe luck into a win last night, leading only 8 laps the entire race. That was 100 miles longer of a race, though. Same amount of laps, though. 2.5 mile racetrack at Pocono. Very similar as far as the fact that it's very fast racetrack. Really have to be precise in these corners, especially with it being mainly one groove. Labonte has been far from precise. And that would be why he's struggling right now. He's definitely going to loosen that race car up just a little bit under this next pit stop. Should say the first pit stop. Nobody has hit pit road yet. Bonnie gets around Elliott Sadler for position. Very close to getting back inside the top 20. He was running right around 22nd for a long time. Right in the center of 1 and 2 is really where Labonte struggles the most. And it hurts his corner exit speed so much. So he either has to lift or he just overdrives the corner right in the center. It's a little bit better getting back to the gas off of turn 4. Like he did right there. Huge move that could not be blocked by Elliott Sadler. Labonte just to the inside of Jerry Nadeau now, going off into turns 1 and 2. Labonte got really loose, though. Johnny Benson up the middle. Labonte slides up in front of Sadler at least, so he passed about 3 to 4 cars, and 3 of them just passed him right back. AJ Allday 23 Jones, welcome to the stream. And again, on the inside goes Terry Labonte into turns 1 and 2. Contact with Johnny Benson. Ooh, Benson brushed the wall as well. Very lucky because they were going 3 wide behind these guys. That could have been a big accident.
Take it easy on those tires.
It's amazing how much better Labonte is in turns 3 and 4 as far as just speed itself, whether he hits the corner or not. Nadeau with a really bad block. Labonte couldn't even check up in time. He kind of tags him a little bit in the center of the corner now, too. As bad as Labonte's car is now, it's almost giving him flashbacks of what it was at Charlotte a couple races ago in the Coke 600. The car is just extremely unstable. Jeff Burton almost got under him. 3 wide now in front of him as well. XY Games, welcome to the stream. It was pretty good for the most part. Thanks for asking. Man, look at the run. Nowhere to go with it, though. Side by side in front of Labonte. 3 wide up the middle. How in the world did Terry Labonte make that move as cleanly as he did as well? Passed about 3 cars down the front stretch from the exit of turn 4. Actually hit 1 and 2 pretty well also. Oh, huge championship implications. Dale Jr. has blown an engine. The points leader has just blown an engine here at Michigan after qualifying on the pole nonetheless. Unbelievable. The pole sitter, the points leader, up in smoke. He might be the first driver to DNF today. That might be a last place finish for Dale Jr. Tony Stewart came in only 16 points behind him. Everybody else 114 on back from 3rd on back. If Tony Stewart doesn't have a good day, it'll be a huge gain in the points for a lot of these drivers. So a domino has fallen here tonight of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Yeah, turn 2, the exit of turn 2 on NASCAR Heat 5 at Michigan is really treacherous. The car tends to get really loose late in the run there. I don't think Labonte's got better than a mid-pack car tonight. And that is good and bad. Good because Junior has DNF'd. So he's already going to gain a substantial amount of points if he could just finish this race, even if he does run about 20th to 25th all night. Problem is where if he were able to win tonight's race, that'd be a completely different subject, completely different story. He might have a chance to actually take the points lead. Labonte hasn't led in the points all season long. Labonte trying to draft Jeremy Mayfield down the front stretch. Labonte trying to make a move into turns 1 and 2 underneath of Mayfield. Got to be careful. Labonte's gotten really tight at this area of the racetrack a lot. And he did again right there, but luckily he fell in line behind Mayfield. Jeremy almost got the wall off of turn 2. I've seen a couple drivers almost hit the wall, but not exactly hit it unless they actually get contact. Labonte's made contact with some of these guys today, but he doesn't have heavy damage. It's going to be interesting on whether or not this is going to be a 3 pit stop race today. We have 1 caution at lap 13. This guy's got to make it to lap 40 to try and make it a 3-stop race, at least lap 40. Yeah, my dad, I think, yeah, my parents and my grandpa were talking about that at dinner tonight. About somebody winning the Powerball. Black Ace, welcome to the stream.
We gotta pick up 7 seconds. Number 99, tell us.
Labonte had room to keep it off the wall, but the unstableness of his race car wouldn't allow him with Jeff Burton on the inside trying to make that pass, and Burton was able to make the pass. And Labonte better be careful because Sterling Marlin is coming for him. And Labonte already wiped him out earlier. And I don't think he's going to waste any time to do it again if Marlin tries to hit him again. And he does! Marlin to the back of Labonte. And they put each other in the wall, and again Labonte turns Sterling Marlin. For the 2nd time already tonight, Marlin goes around down the back straightaway after pushing the left rear of Labonte. First he got sideways, the 2nd time Labonte got put into the wall. And after hitting the wall, Labonte just kept turning left off the exit of 2 and hooks Marlin again.
Still need to pick up about 8 seconds on the leader.
Oh, where is it? Just... Yeah, I live in the United States. I live in Northwest Ohio. So my nearest city, big city, outside of Toledo would be Detroit. I live about an hour and 15 minutes south of Detroit. Terry Labonte's going to hit pit road. Put 4 fresh tires back on the race car. Following that 2nd caution of the race. Doesn't have heavy damage, but he's going to repair it anyway. That was about the same exact spot where he took him out the first time. Marlin and Labonte have just been at each other's throats here over the last 2 races. Probably becoming the rivalry of the season so far. And it's only been 2 races. 2nd half of Pocono yesterday and today's race. So 2 cautions here tonight at Michigan. We had 3 total. Pocono, we got 2 drivers out of the race today. Labonte's got fresher tires. Restart at lap 39. Surprised nobody else has hit pit road yet today. Maybe trying to make it a 3-stop race. Labonte's still going to have a 3 pit stop race to the end from here. So that's again, probably why everybody did pit. Casey Mears, who started last, must have blown an engine a little earlier on. He's out of the race. And then Dale Jr., we saw him blow an engine, so Jr. scored in 42nd right now. No adjustments on Labonte's car, at least that time. Coming all the way from the tail. Everybody's still on the lead lap that is on the racetrack. But look at the fresh tire advantage for Labonte as everybody gets up to speed. This is my home track. It's the closest Cup Series racetrack to me. Live about an hour, 20 minutes to an hour and a half south, roughly. I guess technically it'd be southwest, but pretty much south. Labonte on the apron through 3 and 4. He's able to get it to stick on the fresh tires at least. 40 laps complete here tonight at Michigan. Strategy calls what won Labonte the race yesterday. He didn't have the speed to do it. I think today is going to be a lot of the same, where he just doesn't have the speed. He's going to need the strategy to get that track position. He didn't lead a lap until the final 40 laps of the race yesterday, and he ended up only leading 8 at the end of it. Total. Little contact with Brett Bodine, Mike Skinner a little further up ahead. Big dive to the inside. Labonte just runs so well through 3 and 4 compared to everybody else. That is going to be his passing lane. He's going to be in 3 and 4. Trying to make it in 1 and 2 this time. Not a lot of room. Labonte really slid the tires. Oh, slides up into Fittipaldi. Ken Schrader's been really bad with the blocks the last 3 races. Remember, he probably cost Dale Jarrett a shot to win yesterday's race, too. So it's not like he's only blocking Terry Labonte every time. He's been blocking anybody. And Labonte had a huge run on him down the front stretch. Labonte was going to get to his inside, but with Schrader making the contact with the block, he just cut both their momentum off, especially Labonte in the 5. Labonte's only been as high as 14th in today's race, and that was qualifying there. He dropped 8 spots on the start, was pretty much right around 22nd the whole race. Problem is, he's going to have to try and pass Sterling Marlin here. Now, he does have the fresh tire advantage. Maybe he can take him 3 wide and hold Marlin on the outside. That might be Labonte's best chance to get around him. Big run. Steve Park trying to block. He's in the wall. Getting into turn 1. That stacks up the field behind Labonte. Another late block that just did not pay off. First it was Ken Schrader, now Steve Park. Labonte's going to have to be careful. Oh, and he drills Elliott Sadler. Man, he drove it in there hard trying to get around Marlin as quick as he could. And he got around Marlin, but he accidentally drilled Elliott Sadler in the process, and Sadler loses a spot. Not sure how upset he is. Labonte overdrove turn 2 by a lot. Oh boy.
I'm sure he's still angry with you.
Marlin almost got in the back of him off of turn 2. He doesn't want Sadler or Marlin getting alongside of him now. Marlin really drove it into turn 3 deep, trying to get to the back bumper of Labonte.
He's looking to settle the score.
Number 21 is outside. They're all around. Way to get around him, buddy. The one car is outside.
Gotta wonder what kind of strategy Terry Labonte's gonna have to go through, because he's obviously off strategy now. Everybody's gonna have to pit before him under green if we get a long green flag run. Haven't had a really long one up to this point. Our 2 cautions are at lap 13 and lap 36.
They're on both sides.
It'll be lap 50 this time. And likely going to be a 3-stop race today.
Take it easy on those stops.
For most drivers. 4 for Labonte because he already pitted.
One car is outside.
Michael Turner, welcome to the stream.
Up another spot. You're clear.
Sadler at minus 48. All right. Thanks for
We're all lapped.
seeing that. Whenever I make like heavy contact, I'm worried about trying to save the car. I can never like get a glimpse of the rival indicator, see what it's at until we get alongside of him again. I don't know how Jerry New shot that gap, but boy did he ever. And a little contact with Labonte as well in the process, but both drivers continue to drive on.
Pit road's getting busy. Leaders
So right here at lap 50, our first driver's coming to pit road this time by. Can't blame him. Labonte will get to 19th right before the green flag stop started. It's like only one driver came to pit road. Just within that window to make it a 2-stop race to the finish after this. They can make it to lap 100 and 150 to pit their final 2 stops. Those 2 cautions definitely helped get that far into the run, but we'll have to see what Labonte's going to do here.
Number 22 is outside.
Got a huge run off turn 4 again.
Let's keep it clean, buddy. Someone we can work with.
Okay, we're clear. The 32 car is outside. All clear, buddy.
Labonte hard into 1 and 2, and for the first time today, Terry Labonte's in the top 10. This strategy is actually going to probably allow him to lead a lap, even if he can't lead any laps the rest of the day. Good enough to get 5 bonus points.
Still there.
And in a race where the points leader's already out, looks like he's going to finish 42nd, unless he can get back out on the racetrack and run a slow pace to at least gain a couple more spots, perhaps, if we get a couple more DNFs today. Yeah, so somebody's coming out of the pits. It is going to be very, very slow. Oh, boy, Labonte got loose in 1 and 2. Catches the race car. Waltrip going to cross him back over. So I'm not sure if it's Casey Mears or Dale Jr. who's coming out of the pit lane to try and maybe gain some more points. Labonte gets back around Waltrip and turns 3 and 4 again.
They're on both sides.
Massive run to the back of Bill Elliott. Now looks to his inside. Maybe a little bump and run off turn 4. Might have loosened him up a little bit. Labonte pulled high to try and get around him, but Elliott was there to block for the moment initially and then tried to block again. That's where the contact was.
Car outside.
Bonnie to the inside of Rusty Wallace. I think Wallace might be trying to come to pit road this time.
The 2 car is still there.
Labonte clears him, luckily.
No one
Drives it hard to the outside of Johnson now off of turn 4. Labonte not in the lead yet, but he's up to third. Ryan Newman is currently the race leader. If I remember correctly, I believe he finished second in both the Michigan races on our custom schedule season here on Thunder 04. Again, Newman, our season 1 champ. Not even in the top 10 in points right now. And this is race number 15. Still 21 races to go after this, so there is still time to get back in the hunt for a lot of these drivers. Labonte will lead his first lap of the race at the line. 5 bonus points there. The pit strategy is going to work out for the moment. Not sure exactly how everything's going to cycle through. Some drivers might be able to get back on the lead lap, not just with the fresh tire advantage they'll have on Labonte, but it's a 2-mile racetrack, pretty long in length. That was a big block there by Terry. Again, blocks are all right as long as you're not making any contact. And Dale Jarrett makes the pass. All clear off of turn 4. And now Jarrett's blocking Terry Labonte. Jeff Burton now trying to make a pass. So Jarrett, I believe, just got back on the lead lap. There's Ryan Newman coming off the pit lane. Wow, Labonte got loose, getting off into 3 and 4. Jeff Burton just gets to his inside. Newman trying to get up to speed still. Terry Labonte's going to try to draft off of Ryan Newman. It's going to allow Labonte to clear Jeff Burton back on the inside again into 1 and 2. But Burton drives it in hard himself. Maybe a little bit of contact. Very light graze. Almost in the wall off of turn 2 goes Labonte, and Jeff Burton back on the lead lap now. I think Chase Elliott's going to be a good pick to go to the championship for next year. I would not be shocked if he wins a ton of races next year.
The 6 car is outside. Take it easy on those tires. Still there.
Oh boy. Bonnie just gets really tight in the center of 1 and 2. He almost slid up into his teammate Nemechek. That was a close call. Nemechek kind of lifted, let him go. So Casey Mears is on the racetrack running a very slow pace. Jarrett goes a lap down. Boy, lap traffic has not been paying Dale Jarrett any favors the last 24 hours on the channel. So Dale Jr.'s out of the race. Casey Mears coming back on the track, and now Jr.'s interesting because Jr.'s already scored in 42nd right now. There's a chance Casey Mears can actually outscore Jr., and Jr. how many laps Casey Mears is able to run before he might have to come back into the garage again. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll see what Bowman can do next year. He's just got to be more consistent from start to finish. I think Bowman's kind of having the same problems Almirola is, where they get on a hot streak, and when they're hot, they are extremely hot. The problem is, Spotty just made contact with Joe Nemechek. They almost made contact a couple laps prior. That time they did actually make contact. And Michael Waltrip's coming into the picture now. Oh, jeez. Bonnie all the way up into the wall. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough for Jones to make it to the playoffs. He's probably going to have to win a race because there's a couple guys I'm thinking. I think we're going to have a lot of different winners next year as it is. It's kind of what I'm leaning towards prediction-wise. And there's a few more competitive cars this year that there wasn't last year. I think a lot of people looked at 2311. Hendrick Motorsports probably going to be a little bit more competitive this year, just with Larson stepping in instead of Johnson. I'm not saying Larson's better than Johnson necessarily, but Johnson was struggling at the end of his career. We can all see it, and I think Larson will bring that team up. So, I mean, just those two drivers alone, and Jones missed the playoffs in JGR equipment last year. Just had a down season. I don't think he's going to make the playoffs. Because he's probably going to have to point his way in. His only chance is if he can win a super speedway, really, which isn't impossible. He's won 2 career races, and one of them being on a super speedway where he got his first career win. Never impossible, but we'll see. Never know what like Matt DiBenedetto can bring back to the table again this year as well. Wow, Labonte barely clears Jimmy Johnson. Oh, there's Marlin. Labonte had zero clue that Sterling Marlin was there. Just drilled him off of turn 2. And now Labonte's in the wall. And he kind of pulled back down into Harvick, too. Labonte had zero clue Sterling Marlin was on his inside, and now Ricky Rudd just kind of sends it into turns 1 and 2. Labonte on these older tires. Definitely holding some of these guys up. Yeah, Chase Briscoe, that's another one too. Granted, Boyer made the playoffs last year. I feel like Briscoe could. And you never know about the rookies last year. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. You know, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They could do it this year. Maybe Austin Dillon could get another win again. I don't know. I mean, I think there's just way too many competitive cars this year compared to what there was last year for a guy like Jones to make the playoffs. I just don't see it happening. So Labonte at this point is just trying to lead as many laps as he can before coming onto pit road. Just in case he can be in position to maybe lead the most laps.
Number 38 is still there. 38 car is blowing a block on it. They're on both sides. All the tires won't help us. Be careful.
I think Kyle Larson will make the playoffs, yes. And I honestly expect him to get a couple wins next year also. Kyle Larson just won the Chili Bowl last week, too. Already starting 2021 off with a bang for himself. So Labonte's going to pit at lap 70. That's when he'll decide to surrender the race lead. Because he doesn't want to fall a lap down with this strategy before trying to get back into it. He'll have about 15 lap fresh tires, maybe 20 lap fresher tires on some drivers. But for the most part, it's going to be about 15 lap fresher tires on Labonte's race car. A lot of these guys starting to get back on the lead lap as well. And Labonte Labonte doesn't want to give up too much time. Boy, Labonte got really loose into 3 and 4 there. He's been a lot more looser in this run than what he was on the first run today. He was actually a little bit more tight on the opening run compared to what he is right now. He's got about a 19.5-second lead over Matt Kenseth. Kenseth coming off a top 10, but the 2 races before that he didn't run well at all and fell from 2 races ago leading in points to being back in 8th place. And maybe he can gain some ground here. He's still within 1 race worth of points though coming into tonight, so he's got that going for him.
Number 11 is still there.
Man, a little contact with Brett Bodine.
You're clear.
Terry Labonte trying to come to pit road. Almost didn't even get down in time, but he did. Good thing there was nobody around him when he was trying to cut it to pit road. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel coming up here for Terry Labonte. No adjustments. Labonte was able to lead about 20 laps there before bringing that car on the pit road. He's already led more laps tonight than what he did last night at Pocono when he got the win. Got 12 people watching right now. Only 7 people have hit the like button. Make sure you do that if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel and haven't done that yet as well. Do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every day in the hopes of me finding my dream and living my dream of becoming an actual broadcaster within the sport of NASCAR. So Labonte coming back up onto the racetrack. In the 30th position, he's still on the lead lap though. That's what matters here. Terry Labonte still on the racetrack. Now he's got about 15 lap fresher tires than everybody else. So again, it is a pit strategy race so far today at Michigan with how the first 2 cautions have played out on lap 13 and lap 36. Tell you what, I think it'll be either a crapshoot tomorrow at Infineon or it's going to be a fun race. This analog stick on a road course, it might not be very pretty. I am not looking forward to it. I'm going to make sure I practice for about an hour before the start of that race tomorrow. No joke. I don't have to work. I'm going to do it. 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'm going to be on here and I'm going to be practicing. So that way, noon hits and we start that stream. Staying up to watch. Yeah, I'm not going to be staying up that late. I'll definitely try to catch some of it, though. Always usually try to at least catch a few hours of it periodically. Yeah, how about that? NBCSN going to be no longer by the end of 2021. Insane. There was rumors of that going around. The news definitely dropped down yesterday that it was confirmed that that would be the case. We're going to alternate the camera angles for the first time here tonight. Yeah, one of the big things that have interested me with the Rolex 24 every year, ever since I was a little kid, was just seeing at least a few NASCAR drivers in it every single year. So there was somebody I knew I could root for, because I didn't really watch a lot of like IndyCar as much as what I have the last couple years even. Last handful of years, I guess I'll broaden that out a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to hurt NASCAR's viewership for the races that will be on NBCSN. They're going to have to really start pushing the advertisements for them being on USA Network, because there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to know. I guarantee my grandpa's probably going to call me that first Sunday that a race is supposed to be on NBCSN, and hey, why isn't the race on? And I'm going to have to tell him, hey, it's on USA Network. And he's going to ask me what channel that is. And I don't have Spectrum, so I don't know. So then he's going to be ticked off and upset. He's going to have to flip through the guide until he finds it. Yeah, watch my Red Wings. Well, granted, I guess it'd be on USA. Again, they're transferring that to USA, so I guess I'd still would be able to see the Red Wings games that were originally supposed to be on NBCSN on USA Network. Yeah, I don't know how much of it had to do with COVID. That's the reason why they're shutting down. I really don't know the ins and outs. David Lane did a video a while back on, some reports of why it could have been the case. I highly recommend going and watching it. He has way more specifics than what I could really come to terms with, because I don't really know a whole lot of inside scoop of it. Casey Mears on the 41. Way off the pace. And boy, at Michigan being off the pace, that is a scary thing. We've seen cars come off of the pit lane after a blown engine on short tracks, and it doesn't look like they're running that far off the pace. The top speed isn't really there anyway, but here at Michigan, the fastest track in NASCAR, it's a completely different story. I mean, even not even in the draft, Terry Labonte's hitting 199 miles an hour into turn 1. In the draft, he's hit as high as 207 today. And he's been about a mid-pack car for most of the day as well. It's not even saying what the race leaders could be doing. Labonte's car did not turn at all there. Again, fastest track in NASCAR because of a top speed going into the corner, not average speed. Top speed. And I'm talking about this time period as well. It's not like that with the 550 horsepower package like we see nowadays. There's a full 750 though. Oh yeah, Michigan was by far the fastest. They were going 220 miles an hour in qualifying sessions at Michigan going into turn 1 with the Gen 6 car before the package changed to what it is now. If you get a chance, go and rewatch the 2018 spring Michigan race, the June race. They had a little bit of a rain delay beforehand, but anyway, the speeds during the race were about 220 miles an hour. That wasn't even like qualifying time because it got so cold after it rained. Unfortunately, it got rain shortened because the rain came just after stage 2 ended. So they called the race, and Clint Boyer went on to win, but I was there for that one. It's the only rain-shortened race I've ever been to. I've seen a couple rain delays, but that's the first rain-shortened race I've ever seen. Still the only one to this point. Hopefully it stays that way. I'd like to see an entire race. Last year I didn't have any bad luck at all. Granted, I only went to 3 races, but I didn't have any sort of bad luck with any sort of rain or bad weather conditions when I went to NASCAR races. But boy, 2019 was rough. Like, Atlanta was fine. I was at Chicagoland for that wind and rainstorm. That was pretty wicked. Blew the NBC tent over in the infield. It blew all the t-shirt tents outside the racetrack over before it even started raining. You see tents blowing off in the field. It's crazy. It's my first instance of I mean, it's not actually in Chicago, but first instance of the Windy City, and definitely know why it's called that. Or you can watch qualifying sessions, any qualifying session in the Gen 6 era. So from 2013, from 2013 to 2018 would have been the last year at the 750 package on the intermediates. So any qualifying session from there, just go and watch how fast the fastest cars are in qualifying. It's insane how fast they were going. That's why it's nicknamed the fastest track in NASCAR. Top end speed. Pocono, they were really close on top end speed. It was similar going into turn 1 at least. But it was that fast going into turn 1, then you were still going well over 200 into turn 3 as well. I mean, you were having like 36-second lap times at Michigan. 2-mile racetrack. Casey Mears again. It's going to be passing Casey Mears quite a bit longer throughout the course of the race today. It's tough to tell how much time Terry Labonte's actually been able to gain on some of these guys. Since coming off the pit lane, he's been in 30th the entire time. The only drivers he's passed are cars that have already gone a lap down. Yeah, even the Gen 4 cars went really fast at Michigan, but the Gen 6 cars, plus at that time, the newly repaved Michigan, that's another reason why it was so fast, too, was because it was a repave. It was a repave, and you had the 750 horsepower package with the Cup cars. It's insane. I kind of forgot to mention that the repave was in the early 2010s as well. That also quickened the qualifying speeds and the race speeds up. Starting to lose a little bit of that fresh wear. You can definitely tell last year, I know there was PJ1 on the track, but still, you definitely tell last year that there was multiple grooves slowly starting to form at Michigan. I think you give Michigan another 2 to 3 years, and they're going to start putting on races like they used to back in the mid to late 2000s. Mid to late 2000s into the early 2010s. Bonnie's going to pass his first car since coming off of pit road. That's going to be Brett Bodine. Wasn't exactly a clean pass. Now he blocks him going off into turns 1 and 2. The inside, trying to make sure Bodine doesn't cross him back over. And he does get back to his inside.
You're clear. Number 11, tail left. They're on both sides.
Bonnie sent it off into turns 3 and 4. Brett Bodine, I was going to say, I thought he was still there for a second. Now he's starting to fall back again. Terry Labonte about 26 seconds off the lead. It is going to be a very interesting race to see how this pit strategy is going to play out and how many laps Terry Labonte might be able to lead tonight as well. Maybe he can get the most laps led. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. Yeah, 2012 was the repave at Michigan, so that would make sense there, Michael. But yeah, even like 2013 through 2016 especially. And the June race always had faster speeds than the August race because typically in Michigan's a little bit cooler. Like, it's not cold, it's like 60, 70 degrees. Early to mid-June when they would run that race. But versus, middle to late August, it's, easily above 80 degrees, if not hotter. I think it was about 90 degrees when I went to my first ever race back in 2015 in Michigan. I think next time we get a caution, or I go to pit, I need to Google what some of the pole times were at Michigan in the early to mid 2010 early to mid 2010s. Elliott Sadler 4 position up ahead, so Terry Labonte's definitely closing in on more drivers 4 position. Definitely start passing them as this run carries forward.
Number 38 is trying to lock.
Big run to the inside of Elliott Sadler as they go into turn 1. Labonte makes the pass on Sadler, nice and cleanly. Another blown engine on the inside of the racetrack. Joe Nemechek, so a Hendrick Chevrolet has now gone down with an engine failure. Tough break there. Leaving just 3 Hendrick Chevrolets on the track. Hendrick has always seemed to have some pretty bad luck here at Michigan, especially with Jimmy Johnson throughout his career, but we're almost halfway home here tonight. And one driver coming, I guess that driver coming to pit road was Joe Nemechek, who was up in smoke the lap before. We're going to be seeing green flag pit stops very, very shortly. This should cycle Terry Labonte back out into the lead, at least for a little bit. Big run to the outside goes Terry Labonte. So he's trying to pass Jeremy Mayfield on the outside lane. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work out very well for him. Labonte back to the inside this time instead of the outside on Mayfield. Oh, a little contact with Robbie Gordon. Top 25 now for Terry Labonte. A little tight trying to pass Robbie Gordon through 3 and 4. By the way, with Nemechek blowing an engine here, that could be more of a possibility. Casey Mears can gain another spot as well. Casey is still fighting for that Rookie of the Year honors. Jamie McMurray leads barely over Greg Biffle currently for the Rookie of the Year. Terry Labonte to the outside of Steve Park going into turn 3. Outside didn't work in turns 1 and 2 a couple laps ago. Seeing 3 and 4 if it's going to work for Labonte, and yes it is. And those little bit fresher tires, again about 15 lap fresher tires in these guys. Part of why he's starting to run them down, especially as their run gets longer. And their tires continue to get older and older. He's getting about a second and a half on the leaders since. Casey Mears just pulled up right in front of Labonte. I don't know if that was intentional or not. He could have gotten tight. Way off the pace. And Labonte didn't have anywhere to go. Couldn't fake him out. Or maybe he faked him out too much, and that's what caused him to back up Labonte a little bit. So we're halfway home here tonight at Michigan. 100 laps down, 100 laps still to go. It's going to be a one pit stop race to the finish for everybody pitting right now. The best thing for Labonte with this strategy as well is if we can get a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops after Labonte would lap most of these guys, that would be awesome. And while in the lead, because it's going to be tough for him to get a top 20 today. He's pretty much got about a 22nd place car. One on equal tires as everybody else. Hasn't made any adjustments on the race car yet today. We only got 2 pit stops left, and we've only had 2 of them up to this point as well. We're past halfway. Bonnie just did not unload a very good race car speed-wise. Definitely had a faster car at Pocono yesterday. He had about a top 10 car. Again, he still lucked into the win. But he put himself in that position with a good strategy call. Jerry Nadeau spun all by himself. I don't know if he blew a rear tire, which caused him to spin all by himself in the center of 1 and 2, or what it was. Definitely tell Labonte's line's been getting a little bit better throughout the course of today's race as well. As we get further and further. Stanton Barrett coming off of pit road. Robbie Gordon. Terry Labonte there. Down the back straightaway. Easily cleared him before they even got into turn 3. Now Labonte's drafting off of Robbie Gordon. He's going to get back to Robbie Gordon's inside into 1 and 2. 205 miles an hour into turn 1. The drive off Stanton Barrett got. That's what about 30 lap fresher tires will do on any racetrack. .166 off the lead for Labonte, shown in 10th place right now. Guess just whatever happens for Terry Labonte, he's got to just make sure he stays on the lead lap after he cycles through his pit stops. That's what it's all going to boil down to.
Easy, buddy. That left front tire's seen some action. Got one out.
He got lucky with a caution once last night to get a win. Boy, if that happens 2 nights in a row, that would be insane.
Let's get a new lip for your tire. Small time.
Some of it was that Cheez-It good luck charm, though. Those of you that are familiar with the channel and these Thunder 04 streams. Ran that Cheez-It paint scheme with Terry Labonte a few times this season. And we've gotten a win every time we've worn the hat, my Greg Biffle Cheez-It hat. And we had a packet of Cheez-Its that we opened and ate throughout the course of the race. That has brought so much good luck. Or throughout the course of the stream, I should say. Maybe not in the middle of the race every time, but... that's just unbelievable.
We got some cars headed down Big Road.
Kyle Petty just came into the pits. Jeff Gordon's showing about 9 seconds behind him, and I believe Gordon is actually already pit.
The 19 cars all over your back bumper.
I think Labonte's going to take this run as long as he can this time,
Place for him as he
instead of trying to short pit perhaps. His crew hasn't made a mistake on pit road yet as well, so that's kind of helped.
Number 19 down left.
Jeremy Mayfield to the inside off of turn 4
Still there. DB.
of Terry Labonte.
All clear race. Don't push your fuel too far. Come on in when you're ready.
Labonte's low on fuel right now, still hasn't taken the lead. We still have 2 more drivers on the racetrack that are ahead of him that have not pitted.
45 car is inside. Some of the leaders are coming in together.
Race leader going to stay out and lead another lap.
All right. All clear race.
Labonte trying to hold Sadler behind him.
Keep him behind you.
Could be a battle for position eventually, you never know. Sterling Marlin just came onto pit road that last lap. So Kevin Harvick is still on the racetrack. Season 1 and Season 2 here on NASCAR Thunder 04. It seems like Harvick and his crew tend to be one of the last drivers to pit quite often.
You're clear. You let him by. He's gonna make things tough on you. Run out left. Clear all around. Number 38, top 5. You're clear.
Wow, look at how loose in the center of the corner Terry Labonte got. They're 3 wide. Casey Mears was all the way on the outside and slow. Johnny Benson was in the middle. Benson took off. Not only great job by Labonte saving the car, but no damage in the process. Labonte is in the lead.
All left. 38 car is getting in your way. Clear.
Jeff Gordon's only 5 seconds behind. If Labonte loses the lead at all at any point over this run, he might as well pit. He's basically just doing this to lead laps.
Number 45 is coming right.
Gonna let Kyle Petty go on by on the outside now as well.
All clear race.
Leading laps and hoping for a caution is what Labonte's trying to do right now. Top 5 is Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth.
Gotta keep the tires in good shape.
Wasn't able to see who was in 5th at last lap. We'll see coming by this time at the line. Kenseth led a lot of laps early on. Ryan Newman did as well. Jeff Gordon is going to take over the race lead once Labonte pits. Boy, Hendrick Motorsports has been strong this year. 3 of them have already won a race in the first 14. Terry Labonte has 7 wins. Jeff Gordon has 1. Jimmy Johnson has 1. Joe Nemechek still has to go to victory lane yet of the 4 Hendrick guys. Not going to do it today, as Nemechek blew an engine earlier on. Gordon now less than 4 seconds off the lead. And Kurt Busch is up to 3rd, passing Tony Stewart. Kenseth back to 5th now. Definitely tell these tires are starting to wear out more and more. .6 ahead of Gordon. See, Junior could have led a lot of laps at the beginning of the race as well. I'd have to assume he at least led 1 after starting on the pole. You'd have to imagine. It's not a guarantee, but you'd have to think he would have led some sort of laps. At 117, Labonte 1.3 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon. Gordon's only about 0.6 of a second ahead of Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch is actually kind of closing that gap on Jeff Gordon. I think Labonte's going to be able to lead this next lap. After that, I'm not entirely sure. So Gordon's definitely closing that gap in the draft of Labonte down the front stretch. Lap 118 going into turn 1. Jeff Gordon going to be looking for the lead. Labonte holding up his teammate a little bit here. Oh, contact! That was accidental. Labonte slides up the racetrack into Gordon. Big time save. Everybody holds on to the race cars off of turn 2. Battling for the lead. Labonte got a little loose, slid up the track right into his teammate Gordon. I think Gordon's still in second, but now Kurt Busch to the inside of Gordon off turn 4 for the second spot as Labonte still somehow holds on to the lead. Well, it means he's going to stay out of the pits for at least another lap or 2. Leads in turns 1 and 2. He's a little better through 3 and 4. Kurt Busch is going to have a run on him, though, down the back straightaway. Labonte loose again off turn 2. Very treacherous. Now he's going to try to make sure Gordon leads. Oh, I'm not sure if that's a guarantee. Way up the racetrack he goes as they were 3 wide, and now they're 2 by 2 for the lead. Drag race down to the start-finish line between Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch. Couldn't tell who led the lap. I think it was Gordon. Labonte gets loose. He's in the wall, and around he goes. An engine is now blown for Terry Labonte. Hard hit up onto his side. Dale Jarrett, I believe, was the car that hit him.
A lot of bonus points awarded for all the drivers who led a lap.
Yeah, all those guys led laps, but the only one that really matters.
And that will end Labonte's night.
Save the best for last type deal.
Jerry Labonte didn't finish where he had hoped, due in part to the damage on his
Got
car.
loose a couple laps in a row in turns 1 and 2, and that time in 3 and 4, he just couldn't hold on to it. He overcorrected it.
These guys will be fine.
From all of us here at EA Sports and MRN, thanks for joining us today.
Sorry, it was turns 1 and 2 again. So about 3 or 4 laps in a row, Labonte was just getting loose. Hard hit. I keep saying Jeff. Dale Jarrett was close. There's the hard hit by Dale Jarrett, but Labonte was already knocked out of the race by that point as well, though. It was weird. He hit the wall. He spun all the way around. Then Brett Bodine hit him. And after that hit, Labonte kind of ricocheted with the nose back into the wall again. It didn't look like that second hit into the outside wall with the nose of the race car was very heavy, which was kind of weird that he DNF'd out of it because he didn't really have barely any damage. He had made contact throughout the course of the day, but there was no heavy damage on his race car at all up until that crash. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a first-time winner. And for the third time this year, the finishing order has randomized after a DNF from Terry Labonte. Greg Biffle will get his first career win. The Biff is going to be able to get it done, leading only 7 laps. Hermie Sadler second, Ken Schrader third, Christian Fittipaldi fourth, Brett Bodine rounds out the top 5. Kevin LePage 6th, Stanton Barrett 7th, Jack Sprague 8th, Chase Montgomery 9th, and Mike Skinner rounds out the top 10. So at least Labonte's not going to lose too many points. Junior DNF, he's still going to finish ahead of the points leader. So he'll gain some points, but he could have gained so much more. Was in the top 10 when he crashed out. He was going to try to make his way to pit road. Honestly, within that lap, probably, after losing the lead, he was probably going to plan on coming to pit road a lap or two after the fact. That is the 8th DNF of the year. Or, sorry, no, that's wrong. That was the 6th DNF of the year for Terry Labonte, but still not good. And that is the 2nd DNF in the last 3 points races. 2nd DNF in the last 4 points races. 2 wins in that stretch, though. So he went back-to-back coming into the day. I think Ryan Newman led the most laps. Yeah, Ryan Newman led 51 laps today, finished 12th. He led the most. And Terry Labonte led 23, so he led the second most. But that strategy, knowing he was probably going to be able to short pit lead more laps again, he could have led, I don't think he would have led 51, and who's to say Newman wasn't going to lead more than that. 3 cautions for 11 caution laps, 28 lead changes today. And the only DNFs in this race, Dale Jr. engine failure, Kenny Wallace engine failure, Terry Labonte with a crash on lap 119. Casey Mears had an engine failure, actually got back out on the track and finished the race. We saw him enter back on, and he was able to gain 3 spots because he was the first driver that went to the garage today. But by coming out of the pits, he was able to pass 3 more cars, so he is still in the hunt for the Rookie of the Year standings. Wasn't going to fall out of it anyway today. And Joe Nemechek blew an engine, but he came back on the track as well before the end of it. And was also able to pick up a couple more spots. Actually, just one with Terry Labonte, really. So 5 DNFs. Wow. That's going to shake the point standings up quite a bit. No more DNFs from the next race forward. Well, look, the problem is, again, and some of it is the analog stick. The analog stick actually wasn't too bad tonight. It was at times in the beginning of the race, but I was kind of getting the hang of it. But we were just on old tires there, and that was ultimately the be-all, end-all. Labonte was on old tires, and it slid out from underneath him just a little too much, overcorrected it into the wall, and that's all it took. A hit from Brett Bodine, and then back into the outside wall again was enough to end his day, and then Dale Jarrett came in there and hit him hard. Honestly, yes, he DNF'd before the hard hit from Dale Jarrett. I didn't think that hit to the wall was enough to DNF us, but honestly, that hit that we got from Dale Jarrett in the center of the corner, I think that would have been enough to DNF us anyway, as that knocked Labonte's car, again, right onto its right side. First road course race of the season will be coming up tomorrow afternoon. It'll be the Dodge Save Mart 350 at Infineon Raceway, now known as Sonoma. First road course race of the year. Again, noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. We'll take a look at the point standings before we get out of here. Also, the next 4 races we mentioned, Infineon will be up on the schedule soon. Then we'll be going to Daytona for the Pepsi 400 on Monday. Tuesday will be Chicagoland for the Tropicana 400, the New England 300 at New Hampshire will be on Wednesday. So Dale Jr. loses the points lead with an engine failure in the first 28 laps of tonight's race, giving him a last place finish. Tony Stewart didn't have that great of a day, but he still takes the points lead. Wasn't really in the top 5 even really a whole lot until really late there, or at least late in the going that we saw, until Terry Labonte DNF'd. Again, just past the halfway mark. At least he was able to lead some laps with the strategy, so that helped him. And he was able to outlast a couple of guys on top of it, but still, you hate to see something like that happen, especially that hard of a crash. Tony Stewart is the new points leader by only 26 over Dale Jr. Mark Martin, 77, back in third. Jeff Burton, fourth in points. Great season for him. Very underrated season, really. And he's 80 points back. Ryan Newman, I think he was right around 10th in points going into the race. He comes out 5th in points, 103 back. Jeff Gordon, 110 back. Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth, and there's Terry Labonte. So ultimately, Terry Labonte only lost 11 points today. A DNF, only losing 11 points, not bad. I'm sure he'll take it, but he does fall from 4th to 10th in the standings. So how about this? We went into the race with 8 drivers mathematically within one race of a lead in the point standings. Now it is 10 drivers. The top 10 in points are all within one race of each other as we go into Sonoma for our first road course race tomorrow. A wild card race, so to speak, on the schedule. It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys tune in one more time at noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow on the channel at the formerly known as Infineon Raceway for the Dodge Save Mart 350. It'll be a full race live stream with a realistic broadcast. We have these every day on the channel. If you are a NASCAR fan, if you are a NASCAR video game fan, this is the place to be. We have other related NASCAR content, especially once the season will start up here in a few weeks. So I look forward to uploading some of those videos on top of these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast, because I'm trying to live or I should say I'm in the makings of my journey with this channel to hopefully one day becoming a broadcaster in the real sense of NASCAR. Thanks everybody for watching, supporting as always. Like, share, but most importantly, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night, everybody. Take care.